In the photography world, shooting in manual has this stigma around it. Basically, if you are a pro, you shoot in manual. If you want to be more professional, you shoot in manual. People also sometimes think about shooting in manual as being uber complex, something they cannot fathom doing. It's too much to think about. There's so many variables. It's super overwhelming when you're actually shooting to manage shutter speed, aperture, ISO. I'm here to tell you that it doesn't have to be that complicated. So today I'm going to share with you how I think about manual mode and how that has simplified the process for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to let you see a lesson from the KJ Starter course. So in this process that I'm going to teach you, you're going to maintain all the control you need to be an amazing professional photographer, but you are not going to walk into a shoot overwhelmed like you may have in the past because there's so much to think about. So let's go check out this clip and dive right in. Okay, so in the previous example, the previous lesson, we're talking about a metaphor and we're not taking anything into consideration about a preferred style, and now we are. So now we're focusing on how does a style preference and the desire to simplify manual shooting come into play. And I'm gonna break down how I've used my style to simplify what I'm thinking about when I am actually out on a shoot, shooting in manual fully. I'm not thinking about all those things that we just described in the bucket metaphor. I'm thinking about one thing at a time, and it makes manual shooting so much more manageable. So the goal for me is to get to a place where I have one variable that I'm adjusting at a time, and that's it. So what does this look like when I am creating an exposure and I'm getting my settings right to take a shot? What am I thinking about? What is my priority and what is my system? So just a side note, we're talking about a scenario with natural light. We are not getting into flash, not in this lesson. So the first thing I'm considering when I am setting my exposure is aperture. I'm focusing on aperture because I love aperture. It defines so much of my style. And I'm looking at what I'm shooting. Is it an individual? Is it a couple? Is it a bridal party? Is it a family? How can I get the aperture and the style that I want, but also I'm not breaking any rules and I'm not getting too close to the guardrail. So I don't want the guardrail aperture to come into play and I have soft focus because my aperture was too wide, f-stop too low, and not everyone's in focus. So I am taking that guardrail into consideration. But once I decide on that aperture, I'm not thinking about that again. I shoot almost everything right now at 2.0 because of the new lens I just bought. That's what I love. And so even before that lens, I was shooting like 1.6 to 2.5. And so I would start shooting, let's say a senior session, and I just know I'm only shooting one person. I'm pretty much going to shoot at 1.6 and have the time of my life because I love shooting with a really shallow depth of field. So once I decide on my aperture that I love, I'm gonna like set it and forget it, right? That's gonna be fun. That's my favorite part about shooting. So let's forget about aperture. I know what I'm gonna do. Then I think about ISO. To be honest, I keep it super low and I don't wanna think about it again unless I have to, which I'll get to that in a second. So do I set it at 100? You would think so. But a lot of people watch me shoot behind the scenes in KJ All Access and they see that a lot of times my ISO is like at 250. So why do I leave it at 250? Because I know 250 is a safe zone, right? What's the difference between 100 and 250? It's hardly anything at all. So I leave it at 250 because I know that I really won't have to touch it probably at all shooting an evening session before sunset. That's just a great range. It's safe, set it and forget it. So the only thing I'm focusing now is on shutter. So I'm going to use shutter as my variable to control my exposure. That's the only thing I'm adjusting. So as long as I'm shooting outside with abundance of natural light, then it doesn't matter if my shutter is 1/4000th of a second or 1/400th. I'm just trying to get proper exposure. And it doesn't matter what the setting is with shutter. I just cannot let that shutter speed get close to the guardrail where I run into camera shake issues. So until I get close to that guardrail, I'm not thinking about anything else. My aperture is doing what I want to be creative and I love it. My ISO is at a good, healthy place where it can just sit. So I'm just worrying about the shutter. The only time I'm deviating from this plan is when I get too close to a guardrail with shutter and I have to bring in reinforcements of ISO. Let's think about this priority plan with different scenarios. Let's say I'm not photographing one senior girl and my aperture's at 1.6. Let's say I'm on a wedding day and I'm walking up to a bridal party standing in some shade and my subjects have changed drastically from that senior girl. So what is the priority plan now? It's actually the same. I'm going to set an aperture for this group that fits my style but is not too close to the guardrail, and I'm going to forget that. The aperture's set, right? It's set based on the need of what I'm shooting and a combination of that and my style preference. So forget about aperture. The next priority is figuring out what my shutter needs to be because my ISO is at 200, 250. So my shutter speed, again, is the only thing that I'm changing. So let's talk about if I find myself in a dark situation. So if I find myself in a dark situation, I'm just changing the priority. So let's say my aperture is set, which I shoot pretty wide open quite often. So that's not really going to change. My shutter, I'm letting as much light in as I can, but I'm getting close to the guardrail. So that is kind of set. I can't go any further. I can't open it up even longer. So I'm moving on to ISO, which is my next priority. I'm going to increase ISO to make the sensor more sensitive to light, add more light, make it brighter. Now let's say though, it's still not bright enough. Then I move on to the next priority, the next option, which is adding flash. So just to recap, the first step that you're going to see on the screen says light, location, layout. And basically this is you deciding strategically where you're going to shoot and what type of light you're shooting in. I have not broken this down for you, but that is coming in another lesson. So that's step one. Is your subject in even light? That's something to consider. Can you expose for your background and your foreground equally? I'm going to break that down, but that is the first step that we haven't gotten to yet. And you have to have that because that determines what your settings are going to be. So step two is to set your aperture. For me, it's setting a wider aperture because that caters to my style, but it's got to be appropriate. It can't be so wide that you're messing up the guardrail or you're getting too close to the guardrail of aperture. So some questions to ask yourself: are your subjects going to be in focus? Are you too wide and not locking in focus because your depth of field is too shallow? So those are things to look out for. Step three, adjust your shutter to expose for the skin of your client. So a question to ask is your shutter speed at least double the focal length of your lens? If not, then you move on to step four, you raise your ISO. For me, step four is basically ISO is going to stay low and I don't touch it unless I absolutely have to. It is the last priority. It's the last thing I'm changing if I have maxed out all of the other options. So if you enjoyed that and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to use this at the very next shoot, that made so much more sense to me than what I've been doing. Think about how impactful that one lesson was and then consider that there are 30 plus lessons just like that, covering a range of topics from composition to editing basics in Lightroom to lighting priority plans. Just like I shared with you a manual priority plan for manual shooting, I have another one for lighting and for location scouting. Everything you need to know as a beginner photographer or someone who's just diving into the professional world is included in this starter course. And what's amazing is that because it's geared towards people at the beginning of their journey, it's affordable. So this course is amazing because it gives you so much knowledge, but you're not just getting a dump of knowledge, you are getting systems attached to the knowledge so that you can take all these concepts and actually have a way to filter through them while you're shooting. I am not technical. I have never, this whole YouTube channel, I talk about how like the technicalities are not my favorite thing, but still I'm creating beautiful work and I understand the technical side. The cool thing is that because I'm not super technical, I can teach in a way that other people that don't love the exposure triangle, I hate the exposure triangle. That's not going through my mind when I'm shooting. What I'm thinking about is my lighting priority plan. What comes first? What comes second? My manual shooting plan. What do I want to have as my one variable that's never going to change? This is what I mean when I talk about systems. If you have systems, it takes knowledge from a course and pulls it into the field. I have systems that serve me well and I get the technical side done and conquered, but I have more space and capacity in my mind to do the client experience well, to do posing well, to treat people well, so that my marketing is automated, but I'm still creating beautiful images because the technical side is just a subconscious part of my brain now. All of that comes from systems and practice and a course, having a course like this. This starter course will get you to that same place. You are going to be able to look through my viewfinder and actually see me take what I teach you and adjust my settings, and you'll see the image transform through my viewfinder, which is amazing. You're going to watch me do the basics of Lightroom so that is not a scary program, but an empowering program. And last but not least, you're going to see me walk around in different locations, applying my different priority plans and teaching you how to use this information in real life settings. You can find more information about the KJ Starter course in the link below. It's only $199. It's the most affordable shooting and editing course that we have. It's amazing for you at the beginning of your photography journey, or if you still don't feel like that confidence level is where it should be. And if you enjoy this type of content, this free content, if you like this channel, make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss anything in the future. And I will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.